We recapped the Thy Shadows event that took place at Michigan State on Friday night, where, yes, finally the black jerseys have landed. Also, what did Mel Tucker have to say? Alan Haller, some basketball players. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, hope you are all having a fantastic weekend wherever you are around the great world of ours. Hey, please rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. That's right, August is here. We are going to hit it hard this month as we lead our way up to kickoff. But hey, you know what? Also, if you want to reach out, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. Let's get into the show. Just wanted to share my experience from Thy Shadows on Friday night. Yes, I was incredibly fortunate to get the invite to this event that had a lot of vagueness around it, to be honest. The football staff reached out to a few social media influencers, aka people that spend way too much of their time on the internet, and I'm one of these people. So first, I just want to thank you all. If you follow my work, thank you so much. If you guys contribute to that, I don't get this invite without you guys. So thank you very much for following what we do here on Locked On Spartans or on Twitter. But we get the invite and it's like, hey, there's an event going on July 28th. There's going to be a surprise at the end. And that was pretty much it. There was a lot of vagueness, which I like. There's a lot of mystique around it. But hey, we all know what the big surprise was by now. A lot of us knew what it was going to be going into Friday because, well, oopsie, Nike may or may not have leaked the black jerseys a little early last week. However, there was still something that we were all going to keep our eye on. What are the pants going to look like? Because we found out with the neon jersey reveal a few years ago that pants can make a big difference of how a uniform looks, and also the helmet as well. So we're going to recap this event. I'm going to work my way backwards here. What happened at the very end, and then we'll talk about, what everyone else had to say throughout the duration of this half-hour-ish event. The black jerseys, hey, like we said, the helmet was what most eyes were going to be on after we all saw what the black jersey looks like throughout the week. And it's got the dark green Sparty logo on it, and something interesting that was pointed out by Darian Harris, the MC of this event. The black helmet is the only one with its carbon variant in the country. You may not be able to see it on the blurry photos that we posted on Twitter from our seats, but if you got a close look, there's a texture about the helmet. And yeah, carbon is definitely high tech these days. They're used everywhere from race cars to spaceships to, well, football equipment now. And there's a little texture on them up close that looks pretty cool. Beyond that, look, the jerseys have Nike-infused technology. Now, that means that they are the first jerseys to be considered dry fit. Now, if you're hip to Nike's dry fit, you already know what that is. But basically, it's a super lightweight material. And yeah, in those September games, that's going to feel a lot better for the players. Inside the collar, there is going to be Relentless written on the inside, and the Greek pattern is on the black jerseys and also the other jerseys as well because, well, before the black jerseys were unveiled, they did a little bit of a touch-up to last year's jerseys, and the most noticeable one, the Greek stripe running down the middle of the helmet, which I love. I mean, I can't get enough of that Greek pattern. Is it a little too nostalgic for the 2000 men's national title team? Maybe, but who cares? I think it's awesome. And also, what was interesting, that was pointed out by Darian Harris about the black jerseys, is that those aren't considered alternates. Like, they will be in regular rotation and also can be mixed around with the other jerseys. So you could see white pants, black jersey, white helmet. That might look pretty sharp, or green pants, green jersey, black helmet. You get what I'm saying here. You can mix and mash these with the green jerseys and the white jerseys. So if anyone cares, my thoughts on the black jerseys, I love them. I mean, sure, maybe the more traditional fans out there fight for the only colors green and white, don't seem to care for the all black uniforms. But this is something that has been called for years by a good amount of people in the fan base. And well, Mel Tucker heard those cries, and this was in the works for quite some time at Nike here. Darian Harris said that he knew that the black jerseys were happening for a few months. Got to chat with Mel Tucker a little bit, and he said, yeah, we've been working on this with Nike for a few years, actually. So this was a long time coming. I love the black jerseys, think it looks clean. The only change I would make if I was to hop in the Nike lab is have that logo on the helmet pop a little bit more. I would not have mind seeing like a silver Sparty logo or a silver Gruff Sparty logo, or maybe just like a white outline around the dark green, because the dark green Sparty logo kind of blends in a little too much. But look, that's nitpicking right there. I mean, I would give these a solid 9 out of 10. I absolutely love them. So, and if you want to grab yours, hey, hop on to MSUSpartans.com. They are on sale right now for pre-order for a smooth $105. The jersey, that is, not the helmet. Now, another thing, too, that was interesting, which is something that was not said at the event, and that is when these black jerseys will make their debut on the field at Spartan Stadium or a road game. I highly doubt they would debut them on the road, but they did not say like, hey, Central Michigan, that's going to be the game, or hey, the Washington game, or hey, we're going to wait until a Michigan game. So that'll be interesting. I was lucky enough to catch up with a few listeners at the graduate bar after the event, and that's what we were talking about is, Wayne, all right, do you want to wear them against Central, a team that you should beat, get a good memory of these jerseys, some good momentum with these jerseys early, or do you save them for like a Washington game? Get the crowd a little more amped up when they see the all-black uniforms take the field. And we're kind of split. I think it could be the Central game, because I also think you want to debut these bad boys at night as well. I mean, the black jerseys will look a lot cooler under the lights than it will at a high noon kickoff, and I'm sure the players would agree with that as well. Now, to keep working our way backwards from the event, before all this, Mel Tucker spoke to the crowd, and in the crowd, where we are seated to our left, a ton of recruits, families, assistant coaches to our right, the Spartan Dogs. That's right, the former players, the current players, and then to the right of them, well, the donors, the people that are just shoveling money into this program. They were there as well, as they should be. So Tucker spoke with us. And he also had the golf outing for Spartan Dawg Con earlier in the day, and he referenced that they got the PG-13 version earlier that morning. So it was a little more buttoned up when he talked to us, but the things that he hit on, the 2 points that stuck out most, is just talking about this year's team. And you heard a lot of this over Big Ten Media Days, is that he thinks that this is as good of a roster that he has had ever since stepping foot on East Lansing soil. I mean, this is his 4th year, and it's going to be hard to argue that. Like, look, that first year, that roster, okay, I'm not sure how competitive of a Big Ten roster that was. The year after that, really good season. Kenneth Walker did a lot. Last year, well, you saw that, hey, Michigan State has some talent around the field, but really lacked the depth, and unfortunately, they had to use a lot of depth last season. But yes, they are deep this year. They are as talented as they have been since Mel Tucker has taken over. So some optimism for you to kick off your August, if you will. Now, the other thing that stuck out to me is that he is still very high on the national championship talk, bringing a national championship to Michigan State. And he parlayed that into basically speaking to the recruits. He spoke to the whole room, but I know that like this was pointed for all the recruits in the room, because he kept saying that in order to win a national championship, we need the best players here in East Lansing. And that goes without saying. I mean, that's not rocket science, but he is speaking directly to the recruits and also said that, hey, the best players in the nation are with us today. All the recruits here, we believe you are some of the best in the nation. So it was half, hey, getting people fired up for the season, and the other half, well, firing up the recruits as well, because look, we all know by now, recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. Alan Haller also spoke as well. He kicked off the evening, and I thought he did a fantastic job. Have never been in a room with either Tucker or Haller as they've spoken. They did a great job captivating the audience. Alan Haller talked about how this year will be the 100th year of Spartan Stadium, and talked about, well, 3 memories plus one bonus one at the end. The 3 memories he talked about: 1987, he was here on a recruiting visit, the first ever night game at Spartan Stadium against USC, and he said that he made up his mind to come to Michigan State that night, and also referenced that he didn't let the coaching staff know that. He still made them work a little bit for that, and also made a reference that, that has not changed on the recruiting trail at all. That got a few chuckles from the crowd. And also the other 2 memories that he started talking about: the 2013 Michigan game. He called that the most athletically dominant performance that he's ever seen in person. And then the 2021 Michigan game, of course, the Kenneth Walker Bowl, if you will, said, hey, first year, athletic director, I did not know how to appropriately celebrate that game. Said he was jumping up and down. He also said he allegedly hit a staff member in celebration as well. Again, that got another good round of laughs. So it was a really great kickoff from Alan Haller, but he tied things up with talking about one more bonus memory, and he was getting a little choked up talking about this, very understandably so. He said standing in that tunnel, and a lot of players in the crowd agreed with him, that there is a overwhelming sense of nerves as you are standing in that tunnel ready to run out onto Spartan Stadium's field. When he would leave the tunnel, he would always look to his right and look for his mother, who he mentioned passed away in 2014, but said he was incredibly fortunate to be able to have those 24 memories of running out to the tunnel, seeing his mom. And whenever he goes into Spartan Stadium, looks at Spartan Stadium, the memories of his mother come back to him. So he really tied it close to the heart. Thought it was a fantastic speech from Alan Haller to kick things off as well. We also heard from the basketball players. That was a nice little surprise. AJ Hogard was in the mix. He said that, yeah, watching Cassius Winston, Denzel Valentine growing up, God, that makes me seem old, that he was growing up when Denzel Valentine was playing basketball. But watching those guys is the reason why he wanted to be a point guard at Michigan State. Also, Malik Hall, he got the mic. He said that his favorite game he's ever played in, the Ohio State game his freshman year. Of course, that's right before everything shut down with COVID. And then also the aircraft carrier game last year. And then Tyson Walker had my favorite moment, and I think a lot of other people's favorite moment for the basketball segment. He was asked about, hey, you know what? You transfer here from Northeastern. How long before you really realize the rivalry with Michigan is as intense as it is? And he said just a few conversations with some people from there because they are different. I'm paraphrasing here. Actually, it said something a lot more, I think a little meaner, but he was great on the microphone. And Darian Harris was asking the guys the questions. So yeah, Darian just does a fantastic job, who, by the way, promoted to, I think, associate athletic director or assistant athletic director, some good role in the athletic department, and very well-deserved as well. And to tie it up, just some anecdotal stuff, just some personal stuff. Again, thank you guys for, listening or watching to this, following me on Twitter or whatever, because I don't get this golden ticket invite without you guys. But yeah, I did get to talk with Tucker a little bit afterwards. It was nothing crazy. I'm not going to claim that, we're great, close, personal friends now. We swapped numbers. No, it was about a minute. But with all the recruits in the room, the former players, all these donors as well, me, just a schmuck that has a Twitter following, like that's one more minute than I could have expected anyway. We just talked about the golf outing earlier that day. I said, hey, how'd you hit him? He said, I was just more so there to see the guys off. We talked about the black jerseys, how long they've been in the works for, he said, pretty much ever since he got here. And then I just thanked them for, well, hey, making our dreams come true of the black jerseys. So quick interaction with Tucker there. Had a lot of glad handing to do that night. No question about it. I mean, God, us social media influencers had to have been very low on that totem pole. So thank you, Mel Tucker, for just giving us a little bit of time there. Trey Mosley, saw him at the very end as well. He was the one that was representing the black jersey. It was kind of like a fashion show. I mean, Chris Bogle was there, JD Duplain, Cal Halliday were in the other jerseys. But I asked Trey for a photo, and he said, yeah, for sure. And I wanted a photo with Trey for two reasons. One, to get a photo with the all black jerseys. But two, I've been calling him Mr. Reliable like the last 2 years on Twitter or on here, and I think that's like starting to catch on just a little bit. And I asked him about it if he liked it. He said, yeah, I like that nickname. So thank God I'm not dishing out horrible nicknames over here. But yeah, he was a super personable guy. Was able to bring my wife to the event. She's 32 weeks pregnant, and Trey went up to her and said, when are you expecting? We're expecting September 24th. And Trey said, oh, I'm September 25th. That's awesome. Now, did I say to him that, well, if it's born the 25th, then we're going to name it after you? Who's to say, what happens? But yeah, I mean, that was a nice little anecdote there with Trey Mosley as well. Something else that really stuck out to me too is that there's a little meet and greet outside the Wharton room. And Noah Kim stuck around until the very end. And there were some players that stuck around for a little bit as well. And these players, these college kids, have literally anything better to do on a Friday night than to, just hang around for a little bit for a meet and greet. But yeah, Noah Kim talked to every single person that there was to talk to in there. Talked to him for just a little bit, trying to get him on the pod in the future. So just wanted to show my face. There wasn't any fancy introduction or anything like that. I'm not holding anything out on you guys, but yeah, just great to see him mixing and mingling. And yeah, God, it was just as if he was running for mayor inside there. So he was awesome with everyone as well. So yeah, just a really cool event. Super, super grateful to be able to go to it. Grateful for you guys. And thanks a lot for listening, gang. Really do appreciate you guys. Now, hey, go enjoy the rest of your day. Love you all. Go green.